cabinet, build that cabinet in here. So we're gonna build it in here because outside it's like, what, 12 degrees? 12 degrees outside. So we're gonna build it in here. So now we gotta make room to build. So I went and had a phone call, came back, and he laid it out like a puzzle. Put our face frame on it and then our crown. But one shelf, we'll have a folding shelf in here, adjustable, and then an adjustable here. Dog food will be on a pull-out drawer there, and their water and food will be there. Then I'll put tile on the inside of there. And then here's our lockers. The face frame on the bottom, we just nailed and glued. This one, because that one we glued and it wasn't very big, so. But this one's massive, so we're gonna Craig jig it together. So you got 3 holes, you got A, B, C on a 1.5 inch board. We use B and C, so I just clamp it in there. You actually have to set it up 1/2 inch, 5/8, 3/4. That's the thickness of this board, is 3/4 of an inch. And then you make it so it's tight. And then you also have your drill bit, and you have to set it so that this part, not the very tip, but the outer edge, the fat flange, that gets to 3/4 of an inch. And you adjust that by this Allen head right here. And that just needs, so we just put lines where they need to go. So this one has it on both sides there and there. So you do not want to do, which I've done in the past, I'll show you in a second. You do not want to go click and then flip it like this and have holes on that side and then holes on this side. So when you flip it, you want to make sure that you have your holes and your holes on the same side. And pound out the dust. And then this one's a wide one. So I do A and C. Gonna make sure that that sits flush. Go on your 2 outside there. And if we had a workbench, you can actually clamp this to a table. And we have coarse threads because this is soft wood. And there you go, and then that side is super smooth. Now, let's go see how she fits. Maybe. See how we can stand this thing up in here. Bam. And if you did everything right, it should all be flush. And then this is right down the center. It's cutting wedges to bring this door out to shove shims in that so that there's no gap, just barely a gap there. Make it more energy or more tight, and I cut that crooked. So we'll have to skill saw it or something. There you go. So we'll have dog food in here. We'll have the cabinet door. You grab the cabinet door, pull it out, and it will have all of their food in a garbage can tight tote thing. Adjustable shelf here, a bunch of holes so then we can move it, and then same thing here, adjustable shelf. My wife will probably fill it up with shoes. And then we're gonna do tile back here on the side, in the back, and on this side we're gonna do tile because that's where the dog's food bowls and water dish and everything will be. And then we have crown we will put on. We're gonna keep this stained, and so then I just have to tape around it when we go to spray these. This is all stained grade wood, butcher block, so we had to tape all of this off. So, but we're gonna prime it all, hangers for here, so we can all store our coats and everything. So, and then we're putting gold accents, gold trim handles on everything. We painted on that thing so much. It's pretty. So we just got done spraying. Well, and then I cleaned up the tools, but. Let's see if I can do this. I might have to do this. There we go, because I'm like sticking my head through. And then there's all that. Let's see what I can do. This I am keeping, but it's got somewhat of wet paint on the plastic. I'm just doing this part because this is the part you really want to see. So we got done. We painted it one time. My wife's like, hey, I don't like that color. And so I had to retape it and repaint it again. But, so here's the final. So this fancy backsplash for my dogs. And so, like I said, this comes out, and then that way the food. And of course he comes running. He's like, huh, food. Nice door handles on it, and then these are soft close too. So got our crown up. We redid these doors, and so redid the maple and stained it the same color as my dining room table. I also built that too. And we painted behind the toilet. Can't see it, but then we painted behind the toilet. So we got a cute little mirror in there. So, and then our lockers. So we each get, so this one's my side. So I got all my work shoes and everything, and then my fancy shoes, and then my work coats, and then my really fancy shoes up there. But, and then like I said, soft clothes. But there we go.